Welcome to our lovely future humans and to those who know emotional mental intelligence thanks to being yourself authentically. Let's start with some messages from me to you, 5D Mystic Mentor, Messenger, food for thought, points of views, content creator, podcast host. So let people who want to waste their life away, it's called wasting, but it's okay, it's their life, in low frequency do so. Our 3D, 4D brothers and sisters. Your opportunity when you're in their vicinity is to learn to consistently differentiate and self-regulate in your ventral vagal state. Due to us being a part of nature, as humans, we're all nature. Our bodies are smart. So are our minds when they're owned by those who are anchoring in fact, their ventral energy. This is why you allow yourself to maintain the highest level of spirituality. Spirituality is when you're able to live a life of meaning and connection beyond your solo self. You only own a solo self once all of your child parts and the essence of you are whole. So at that point, you're being yourself authentically. And as a teenager, I knew already how to do this. So you're going to sit down, relax, a little bit of story time in a minute. But for those of you who are more of personal growth, not spiritual, I'm a woo-woo pseudoscience and I'm a mystic and I'm spiritual. So I support those who want to expand their body of light, their Merkaba, their vehicle. We don't use dictionaries here. I don't. So please don't go looking up the words because I'm not going to be using it the way you can ask me questions and then I can share with you how Maria's vocabulary dictionary is working. So being yourself means you're not fake. And that's why when we're meeting fake people, again, from experience, they don't want to move into intelligence. Mental, because they don't want to move into emotional intelligence. So when you're given the opportunity, as Dr. Daniel Siegel suggested to me when I asked him about frequency, no, I asked him about something called I walk into a room. No, I didn't pose it to him that way, but I asked him about frequency because I pick up on a room. So he said, I think you're not differentiating enough, Maria. And that's when he explained to me how to differentiate. And I said, okay, got it. So when you're a self-compassionate, you love yourself first. That's why we're all selfish. You also love others because you are not using the word as some random bullshit thing. It's actually the oxytocin gene hormone, so you know how to be in it because you've anchored in ventral energy. So we're always on a high. So when someone says you're always happy, it's fake, your smile, you can't be, you just say, yeah, it's fake smile, and you leave it alone because that tells you immediately you got a downer. That means that they are hooked on their fantasy stages, their very yucky drama stress, very yucky distress, and you'll perceive it. So that's why immediately you'll be able to say, okay, that's not mine. I know what my nervous system was 2 seconds ago because I live the highest level of spirituality, Christ consciousness, when you embody it, because you embody the Holy Spirit, because you said yes to it, my good Christian Catholic catechist. So you say, I don't suffer for other people's sins. I have my own stuff. I take care of it with God. I'm in communion with God. Okay, so once you have the opportunity to consistently self-regulate, which is right here as a teenager, that's your mindful mindset, living and loving always. So you don't look to the past and say, oh, I would change my oversoul. Your oversoul actually expands. Your Merkaba expands. I got 2 Kundalini awakenings, 3 twin flames. Nothing's gotten tragic except for people who continuously get older but stay basically, again, let people who want to waste their life away do so. I'm starting to really think Determined is right. I need to read his book because there's a bunch of people who don't want to get out of their destructive, negative mindset. And they bring their physiological states, which are their 0-8-year-old, their unresolved trauma with them. And we get to perceive every bit of their suffering because they consistently, like a Zen master, don't utilize what is the present, their prefrontal cortex. So once again, by anchoring in ventral energy, allowing yourself to remember when you're meeting any of the suffering ones, you leave it alone and you say, oh wait, this is my opportunity. And you differentiate because it's not your nervous system that you're perceiving. And it can be one person or 10 or 2. I'm intuitive, so you pick up on your entire herd. We're all, the human species is one, so that's why we love humanity, our empowered feminine. The biology is smart, so I have no questions for her. Actually, she lets me know a lot of things, so your nervous system's always talking to you. That's why aligned conscious subconscious, so they don't actually have to get you down. There's no energy vampires. So remember, when you feel the suffering of other human beings, it's a bunch of people who don't take the ascension energies and expand with them because they, oh, damn it, I want to live now. And that's after they've done the sacred journey of therapy, transforming EMDR, child parts, somatics. That's how it works. So please, again, you have one of 2 choices. You can use your free will opportunity to say, I'm going to continue being kind and loving because I can recalibrate, and you differentiate. And there's your self-compassionate, self-loving, self-serving human being who then, in the same moment though, saying, I'm going to stay in our highest level of frequency. The ventral energy is our eustress. So I can allow myself to sit here, be in meditation while I'm speaking. And those who are around us can either accept that we're not going to lower our frequency, not notice anything, or maybe just never be around again, because there's a time when they don't have what it takes to want to be around that which is on a high. You know what I mean? So it's just, what's the word? You don't cut people out of the herd. You don't have to. That's not necessary. By anchoring in your ventral energy, you will allow yourself to maintain the highest level of spirituality, being yourself authentically as a functional inner child adult, aka the science terms are you're a securely attached, non-traumatized human being because you have self-love, because you have self-compassion, because you do have self-awareness, accountability, and regulation skills that involve self-reflection with mental and emotional intelligence, mastery, and the consistent enlightenment and expansion of consciousness. Thanks to the inner growth mindset, that which I share with you, you deal with the unknowns, uncertainties, unexpected, unwanted from within you while going with your heart and the flow, and there you go. So like a crystal, those of us who are on a consistent high know how to stay so. Is it fun to have low frequency? Well, humanity has a lot of different countries, and then there's a bunch of people who don't want to fix the destructive mindset. Just go listen to songs, go watch the movies, go watch the entertainment, all of it. Go, I mean, really, I laugh when I see jokes because, you know, you're going to laugh, but just keep on watching any of it. And you know, you're just going to be like, wow, they waste their life not only inside their bodies, but also outside. So we don't, like a crystal, we say, okay, here's my opportunity. It's your vehicle, but also really, again, it's called restorative embodiment. So going with the flow is every human being's capacity, but a Zen master who has laundry, like another human being who's a cynic, they don't know how to do it because they chose to disregard that their thoughts are impacting that which is called the way that their body is coming up with the bad feelings. They could go handle those feelings instead of allowing them to be managed by their 14-month-old. So when somebody is a child who's pouting all the time, that's pretty straightforward, don't you think? So you remain untouched, which is why there's not an energy vampire, a dark aura. You don't give people nicknames and dehumanize them. I do know that twin flame and flames exist, and when people are making fun of it, it's like, look, that's not really funny. So Christ consciousness, the frequency, it's really, really beautiful. And why is that? Well, because one, Jesus, he's the one. He's the one you can thank for Maria knowing exactly how to bring to you all the conversations, and God. God always reminds me, and Holy Spirit, how to consistently remember that my brothers and sisters, they all get to choose whatever they want to do. So I get to be with the emotionally mature, intelligent human beings who are also, committed to yourself, physical, mental, emotional health. And that's why emotionally healthy spirituality people to be spirituality in and of itself is emotional health. But some people, they actually have decided that they, with the self-righteous, contemptuous, irritable batons, are the right ones. We know that you choose the legacy you're going to leave behind, which is why we don't leave that of trauma charges. We say, okay, we have emotions, we're ruled by them, except for, no, at a certain point, we're the ones who work with them and our thoughts and our emotions. So we leave authenticity and love and family with all humanity. So there's no monsters. When somebody got the short end of the stick, they didn't actually start off with the good end of the stick. That's why determined. Thanks, Robert. So the scientist who said that it's likely that people's willpower won't help them get over their bad habits, I have met a lot of, I'm going to say, mid-20s, mid-30s. So by the time I was as a teenager, I thought, well, we're teenagers. I didn't really think much of insecure people. I just learned from my BFFF of all times that people who are afraid of secure, attached, enlightened, empowered people don't tell them the truth. So she's the reason why by the third time my teenage boyfriend, I'm like, look, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, we're young, now we're getting older, and I'm getting ready to go to college. Make up your mind. It's not hard to decide if you want to be with a person or not. And those who crap on polyamory because we're unfaithful, we're not. It's called consensual non-monogamy. And guess what? I'm a lot happier as a person who can tell you about a polyfidelity vessel than any of the bullshit that people bring to me. You don't know love if you can't commit to yourself. You don't know love if you don't know physical, emotional, mental mastery. You don't know love if you don't know how to handle your own embodiment. And while I wasn't attachment trauma informed as a kid, it was pretty straightforward. You got two choices. Make up your mind. What do you want? It's not that hard to decide. When people don't know how to easily think and feel, that's a shit show. There's bad resilience for you on the go. Dr. Amy Pigan and anybody who is listening to smart neurobiologists, neurotherapists, and all of them will know about neuroception. So it's likely that willpower will work when a person understands when it doesn't work, why it doesn't work. And then instead of only hearing what they like to hear, noticing, oh wait, am I enjoying to hear only the group of people that I actually agree with? And am I really upset and disliking the group of people that I don't agree with? So I'm basically choosing not what works or what's true. I'm choosing a destructive and reductive and negative mindset because I've decided that I want to stay on the shitty end of the stick. So that's where it's at. For me, people who like this Zen master doesn't know how to do his laundry, his tears, I'm like, okay, wow, that means you have low emotional tolerance. You don't know how to handle your emotions. They do manage you. It's not even managed. They're literally all over your face. So do something about it, Zen master, instead of that's where it's at. So while for the mental, emotional, and physical aspect, it's easy, I know why. Doesn't mean that I need to tell you it's hard, because it's not. For those who it's hard, you know what I know? Kylie, narcissist healing. I tip my hat to Kylie. Psychopath healing, I forget her name. I tip my hat to her. I tip my hat to the lovely dissociative identity disorder lady who's healing and all chirpy because she's at the 7th year. I don't tip my hat to my Pinocchio friends, but I will accept, love, and respect them because that's how it works. I tip my hat to Dan Martell. Mediocre people, stay away from them every time they're around you and allow yourself to know your future self starts now. 4.5, 45.0 version. I'm not wasting my life away, and it's really sad to tell you all there's a bunch of people. They could be way better off. So since I was a teenage boyfriend with a lovely partner, they're doing great and awesome. But I got to witness as slowly these human beings, and not only them, consistently gave up on things that are part of the essence of who they are because they didn't actually take themselves seriously when they would wake up in the morning with nasty thoughts and nasty feelings. Oh, by the time you get to your mid-20s, you come into college, and now I got people complaining about fucking, and I'm like, you're grown-ups now. So now we know about the adolescent brain, 11 to 25, but still, by the time you're in college and working, you look at me weird because I live with my mom. I'm going to not look at you weird because my mom taught me manners. But you drinking, driving, and thinking just because you live all by yourself that you're a healthy grown-up, you're not. You're not even a grown-up. You don't know how to live grown-up life. If you did, then you'd know your herd depends on you, which means you need to know how to handle everything. Common sense, nutrition is number one, all of it. I didn't realize how many ignorant people there would be on how life works. We're creatures of habits. So I personally, subjectively know that when I got told in high school, we're going to make you do the gym because that way you're going to have to, that bothered me. It wasn't because of the gym. They explained to us why it served. It was because of the way they manipulated their words and thought that they could impose it. So that's what a 3-year-old who says, you can't make me do something that I don't want to do. But once you're grown up, like with the nutritionist diary that I have going on, the reason I got intrigued. So if you're a person who understands how life works, you get intrigued. Why are you complaining about something that's good for you? Wait a minute. So when someone doesn't love themselves first, I don't need to look at you. In fact, I'm not looking up to anyone who is in a low frequency, and I'm not looking down. I'm looking straight at them and sure, you're doing great, Pinocchios, on your island. Keep having fun with what is really a waste of your time because 24 hours, you know how many things you can get done in 24 hours that are amazingly intriguing and beautiful? Biochemistry of fear. In order for you to be able to use your prefrontal cortex, I chose to stop venting because I noticed that it wasn't helpful and it was poisonous. I chose to stop getting into my anger because I noticed that it was making my brain fuzzy. So these are interoceptive. When you have awareness of your body because you have a good relationship with your empowered feminine, again, we're part of nature. We pick up on the whole globe. It's not because emotions are contagious. It's because we're nervous systems. The more that you're using your prefrontal, your insula can grow. Thanks, Dr. Dan. So when my insula is consistently active because I'm not separated from neck down, this is awesome. And it's called integrated brain. So at IHP, we're going to have people who are being their self authentically, emotionally intelligent, mentally intelligent, and masters. They're not in any way, shape, or form competing with mediocre people. We're also not thinking of them as mediocre because they can't rise above from the ashes. No, they can rise anywhere they want, but that's if they get out of pseudo-liveness, being hooked on drama, continuously doing this fantasy and like really that video of likely not breaking bad habits. It's just so, I don't even know where to begin or end, because there's so much good information out there. The people who want to sound brilliant as they waste their life away and time away have only one thing they always say to the chirpy ones of us: you're pretending to be happy, you must be delusional, you must be blah blah blah. And they consistently want to bring to you, you need to be in a low frequency, which makes me think, wow, should I let them know that they want my unhealth? Because that's the way I could wield my mouth if I wanted to. But you know what I've learned is I don't want to. Like my facade friend who talked over me while I had a very serious conversation with him. And like Stephen Porges confirms, and Patrick Tian and any other smart expert, emotionally immature people are physiological states. So they need to be self-aware, accountable, and regulate. With self-reflection, they need to say, what am I saying to some human being? Am I bringing my mood to a room? Did I decide that my suffering needs to take precedence over a human being who's also not, excuse me, you're human. So when somebody doesn't understand why some of us don't suffer, it's okay. Believe me, I've seen it. I've had at least 2 interactions with people. In one case, they figured it out because they're like, oh, you really don't. In another, they got pissy in their pants. Like when I explained to somebody how to handle their panic attacks. It's like, okay, wow. So people don't notice themselves when they lack self-awareness, accountability, regulation. It's a physiological state. You can't make someone become a functional child adult. They either want it or don't. Leave alone the low frequency people. They either want it or they don't. There's the free will that God always just says, remember, it's not a waste of your fucking time. That's right, God, it's not a waste. I get the opportunity to learn to differentiate. And as a mindful mindset mentor, get to tell you all, it's really great, because the maintaining of your high frequency, you do yourself good and to the globe, for the ones who will make it into their highest level of spirituality, because they will want it. And then you also support the human beings who are suffering right now, because our eustress is actually regenerative. That's our human nature. So the only ones who actively don't understand that nature is not evil, Knievel, medieval, are the same ones who don't understand how if your faith in humanity got broken, then that begins with you to work with your mindset so that you can get out of it. And when someone wants to think that by being positive we don't know about negative, you don't know how it works to be an intelligent brain, obviously. Because if you can't explore positive, negative, and neutral, you have yet to understand how anything works in life, because you're assuming things all the time. And that means you're watching your fucking back, which also means that you've consistently disregarded all the smart scientists and how they explain what that is. So testing love, testing kindness, testing compassion. This is why they're buffoons, but they're not really testing you. They are consistently afraid, and that's why it's sad, because they're consistently under distress for no other reason except for they listen to someone telling them to watch their fucking back, which is trending, versus I'm gonna go and get myself help. Because if I'm still so concerned with humanity like this, there's enough of the modern day therapists that are telling you. And so if you're gonna follow some idiots who tell you all the things that our archaic ancient human beings knew, it's very easy to spot them. So it's not a competition. Those who don't commit to physical, mental, and emotional health, they don't get out of being downers. They don't get out of being fake. They don't get out of their survival mode. It's bad resilience. They don't have the willpower. They don't have the motivation. They don't have it because they have yet to harness that which is their emotional plane, because they first need to get it back online. Then once it's online, they need to want to continue therapy. Then once they do that, and that's it. They don't want to continue personal and spiritual growth. So, you got a bunch of people who are just going to be that, which is the relationship societal soul age group, enlightenment soul age group. There's different soul age groups. That's basically how I'm going to share with you the answer to, if you're curious. But at the end of the day, I do enjoy understanding that we get to simply continue with cosmic karmic balancing, which is already at play. God already knows all his children can achieve their highest level of spirituality. Jesus knew it. The kingdom of God is within you. Sadhguru knows it. The seed of enlightenment is within you. And so we accept, respect, and love all equally. But again, don't let any of those who are in a low frequency waste your time. So remember that when you're in the presence of any of low frequency people, you have an opportunity to not waste it. It's called differentiate, which means you're going to grow more curious. And when they use the word that we get courageous and strong, I don't think I'm courageous or strong for crying or getting angry maturely, or being afraid maturely, which means healthily, or being surprised, disgusted, and happy maturely. I think who's courageous and strong is that little girl that I still see with her little, no, she didn't want the little juice box. The little girl, that's who's strong and courageous. And one day, if ever, that person turns into the villain of the story, well, I'm not surprised. And anybody who wants to actually opt out of understanding how embodied brain works, sure, you have integrity. Yeah, you got a bunch of it. I see. Hand your scarlet letters out. Go, have fun with your self-righteous batons as you consistently continue to do unto others, which was that which was done unto you. So here you have who's a functioner child adult who doesn't like to see any child at all being scared. And when somebody thinks that it's okay, well, again, thank goodness, biology, empowered feminine, it always wins life, not the other way around. Masculines, when they're not empowered, they're distorted. And that's why we have a bunch of different of them following masters. They follow distorted feminines. That's exactly why we're like, okay, we don't have to do anything about it. The ones who want to correct, hey, you ain't God, you ain't divinity. So I think you better take a step back and remember that there's always cosmic karmic balancing at play. But yeah, it's a bigger, what's the word? You have yourself to bring to your highest level of spirituality, to frequency, maintain it. That's the soul's journey. Once you are aware of this, that's why you're also on your personal growth and spiritual journey. The people who are spiritual bypassers, and that's also, I'm pseudoscience, but I'm not pseudo-intellectual. That's also the pseudo-intellectual, so dogma. The ones who are basically the masters of others. Because an insecure ego wants utmost certainty, they like to follow people that box things up because they're afraid, you see, of the unknown. So they don't know healthy fear. When you meet true scientists and true spiritual ones, when I say true, it's the ones who know that truth is balance, and it always brings you to love. Anything that doesn't bring you to love isn't truth. Love is the oxytocin gene hormone. Nature has a way of always balancing itself out. People who are ignorant, they have no idea how any of it works, so you leave it alone because seriously, they don't have a level of understanding. But those who want to tell us nature's fine without humans having to do anything for that which is the environment, again, they're deciding what they want to hear. I'm saying when you have a consilience approach, the opportunity is to notice sustainability and empowering people to be able and be at their best. That's what you're going to do if you're in a love frequency. The unhealthy fear ones, they hang out together and they bow down to each other and pat each other on the back and do all this other crap. So it's not impressive. It's mediocre at best. It reminds me of teenagers all day long and all night long, which is why your one opportunity as your own little star, your own vessel of light, is you maintain the highest level. It's not hard at all, believe me, because a weak energy is not hard to spot. It's not hard to notice that they choose to stay in that because, again, it's their nervous system and it's a physiological state. So you saying something like to my facade friend, I thought he had heard me, he didn't. So the scientists prove emotionally immature people, they just want the pats on the back. You don't have to pat them. We hug them. You let them do them. You do you, and they'll be automatically healthy, self-boundaries, all of it, because that's exactly how it works when you are authentically yourself and they're authentically themselves. So the bigger picture, what I was trying to get to is I've seen the choice points for different countries, but it's not one person, you see? So it's a bigger conversation than what these points of views and stories were for, which is about you being yourself, the growth mindset, inner and outer growth. So again, when you're being yourself with a growth mindset, it will lead to emotional, mental intelligence. We might have some more stories later, but we had our late HP show, being yourself, intelligence, love, and awe. And yeah, so it's going to be okay is what I'm trying to get to. And in the meantime, though, we will be back. So when you get to be you, this is the most awesome gift that you give to us. We give to you. We give to the world. The frequency is of those who are on their love, Christ consciousness, enlightenment frequency, and then the lower frequency, but they're going to, at a certain point, stagnate, just maintain it. So they kind of, and that's because the body's going to protect them. So if they choose to continue with their maladaptive patterns of behavior, inner outer critic, drinking, drugging, fucking, they're going to stay in a destructive mindset, negative mindset. They're going to be low frequency, but you won't need to differentiate more because once you get acclimated, to the group. That's why you create a we herd. I have plenty of different people in my group. I don't actually have this thing that I am always picking up on their low frequency in the same way, because you begin to recognize it. It's like the hint of a flower, the smell. And so that's where, as a mystic and a person who also knows scientists, also can explain it to you, the good mental health professionals. So we're called somatic empaths. And really, you don't have to use that word, but it's because we'll perceive on every person has parts of their self, fragments and pieces that want to be welcomed back home. But as I told you, I think it was last night I read to you, the 9 domains of integration, if they're not with a therapist, they're not integrating shit. So yeah, I can perceive something, we can have an interaction, but you ain't healing because you're not taking your mind seriously, your mental health, your emotional health, let alone your physical health. So it's really about choices that people can make in this day and era, 2025. So your mind is a miracle, the greatest gadget on the planet. If you take charge of your mind, especially when you are young, you can ensure health, peace, joy, and an ambience to explore human genius. I actually do everything I do to leave a legacy for especially the younger generations. The sooner you start as a teenager, the better. In fact, I don't find it hard to recalibrate at all. I find it very boring to have to consistently hear you fake it. I am used to that, and I just leave it alone because I'm not going to explain to them all the scientists, because I forget the data, fuck it up, and then I get to hear this. I found it hard to believe the first 3 years of life mean shit. You know what? Your first 3 mean nothing. Let me leave it alone so that you can continue to betray your own self, because really, I have no possibility to say anything because I don't want to, and God chimes in, and it's none of my business. But I do think, you know who is strong? That 3-year-old. That 4-year-old, that 8-year-old was strong. By the time you get to your adolescent year, now you're beginning to be a little asshole. Then you're going to become a bigger asshole. And I can be an asshole too. The difference is I'll know it and I'll say it. And I won't actually be kind about it, but I won't be spiteful about it either. I'll just tell you what I think. No, I won't. My mother taught me manners. If you can't say something nice, say nothing. And God taught me manners. So the scientists taught me how physiological states work. And thanks to my facade friend, I don't yell at anybody in their face because I don't need to correct your behavior. Number 1, it already happened. Number 2, there's good therapists for that. Number 3, I'm not God. Number 4, you already did it and you're going to do it again. Number 5, like I said, leave them alone. Don't waste your time. Doesn't matter which one of the not empowered masculines you will meet. You will consistently notice how they continue with their bad habits, because that's the whole point. They like to talk about good and bad, but then they don't notice. Do I have bad habits? Yes, I do. I'm working on it to ensure that I don't weigh down on society with my health as I age, to ensure that I don't weigh down on anybody financially, all of those things that are so important to some of us, and we actually know how to walk a walk and talk a talk. And oh, look, are we perfect? No, we're not. But the point is that when you hear somebody wanting to talk about political, religious, and a bunch of topics, but then you notice that they haven't done one thing to improve that which is their day-to-day habits, sure, keep talking. That's why teenagers, they're really unimpressive, because it's always a mediocre brain that's using their mouth so well and then not noticing. You can use your mouth all day long, look fancy, look not fancy. I don't care what it is, I'm going to watch. Actions speak louder than words. And then by the time you're done walking, I've seen your 5 hands, and now I know you're committed to that which you've decided, because you speak it to me all the time. So you are creatures of habit. We all are. If you're smart enough, you get to use your ventral energy. Come on back over here. Emotional intelligence grows because you are an emotional master, and that means mental, and that means enlightenment frequency. And it's not inaccessible, the flow state, but it's also not something you ever do alone. No, in fact, actually, it's like Sadhguru pointed out, it's when you're with people that you get to have the biggest of the opportunities, which is why, again, it's really your gift for people to be around you all the time, not just sometimes. And that's how it works. So let's make the world a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Woohoo! Some people just speak those words and don't mean it. Some of us instead, we mean it, and we see what we can do. Integration of the brain. More of us. Yes, Dr. Daniel Siegel, don't worry. I'll spread the word. And that's where mindful mindset practice is. It's beautiful to be a restored, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating person. That's being yourself authentically as a grown-up. Obviously, our lovely younger generation needs to see us do it. And, as for all the other stuff, let's leave it alone for now. But we'll be back with more. Have a good one.